Danny Malin built Rate My Takeaway into one of the UK's most loved YouTube channels. A simple table, a chair, a cheeky smile, and hundreds of local takeaways given their moment in the spotlight. Nearly 800,000 subscribers, millions of views, a national award. Danny was the heart of it all. But now, the channel is in chaos. What started with a quiet resignation last week has spiraled into one of the most bitter YouTube bust-ups we've seen in years. Danny has spoken. His former team has hit back. Allegations are flying in both directions, and the future of the channel hangs in the balance. So what really happened? Let's break it down. But first, if you love deep dives into the biggest stories in celebrity and YouTube culture, hit subscribe now. We bring you the truth behind the headlines every single day. Danny shocked fans on Friday, September 5th, when he announced he was leaving Rate My Takeaway. He said challenges behind the scenes were wrecking his health. Fans were stunned. Why would the face of the channel, the man who made it what it is, suddenly walk away? 2 days later, cameraman Tom and editor Josh broke their silence. They said Danny refused to film a farewell video. They insisted they'd never had bad intentions. They wanted viewers to know there was another side to the story. But then Danny came back with a bombshell. On Monday night, he posted a 40-minute video on his new channel with wife Sophie called Mr. and Mrs. Yorkshire, and in that video, he pulled no punches. Danny said the truth was simple. He'd lost all trust in Tom and Josh. He accused them of toxic behavior behind the scenes. He said endless arguments were destroying his mental health, triggering anxiety and trauma. And he revealed something even darker, that one particularly heated exchange with Tom in a shopping center had contributed to the stroke he suffered in 2024. In Danny's words, every disagreement since then has taken him back to that moment. He couldn't carry on. It was harming him too much. That's why, he said, he walked away. Danny also revealed the behind-the-scenes deal that fans never knew about. Back in 2020, when the channel launched, he, Tom, and Josh agreed to split everything 3 ways. 33% each. Danny would bring the personality. Tom would bring the brand and production. Josh would bring the editing. Equal partners, on paper at least. But Danny says things changed. He claims he was made to sign a management contract while he was still grieving his fiancée, who had died suddenly. He says he was on antidepressants, looking after 3 children alone and vulnerable, and that he signed without really understanding the consequences. Tom denies this completely. He says nobody forced Danny to do anything, and that a contract was simply the professional step they had to take. Danny went further. He says he was never given access to the Rate My Takeaway social media accounts. He says he couldn't remove vile comments attacking his wife, Sophie, or his 15-year-old daughter. He says much of the abuse was racist, sexist, and cruel, and that when he begged for moderation rights, he was ignored. Tom's response? He says moderation wasn't his job, but that if Danny had asked, access could have been given. He also claims that for years Danny brushed off trolls, even saying they boosted engagement. Only in recent months, Tom says, did Danny start to push harder on removing them. And then came the split itself. Danny says that within 3 hours of handing in his resignation, he was locked out of the channel email. Within 5 hours, the bank account was drained. The money split equally between the 3 of them. Danny admits he received his share, but he says the speed of it all felt ruthless. Worse, he says the Rate My Takeaway van, the one he'd become famous for driving, was taken from a secure compound without him knowing. He says he was told he'd have nothing more to do with it. Tom and Josh hit back again. Tom insists his company owns the van, so he had every right to take it. He also says Danny's resignation letter included 3 dramatic options: sell the assets and pay him his share, sell the assets but keep paying him while using a new host, or buy him out completely. Tom says he was blindsided and had no choice but to lock everything down. And then there's the fallout. Tom says he's been bombarded with abuse from angry fans ever since Danny went public. He says he's been called every name imaginable in messages and emails, and that the pressure has been overwhelming. Danny, meanwhile, says he's not trying to destroy anyone. He insists he wishes Tom and Josh well, but that he had to put his health and his family first. So where does this leave Rate My Takeaway? The brand is still live. The channel is still huge. Tom and Josh may try to continue with a new host. But can it really survive without Danny Malin at the table? Let's be honest. Danny was the magic. His warmth, his honesty, his humor, the way he could sit with anyone, eat anything, and make it feel like home. That's why people tuned in. That's why Rate My Takeaway exploded during lockdown and became a comfort for so many. Replacing that won't be easy. At the same time, Danny isn't disappearing. His Mr. and Mrs. Yorkshire channel is already growing. He's still out reviewing food, this time with Sophie by his side. And he's made it clear, he's not done with YouTube. So what happens next? 3 possibilities. 1. Rate My Takeaway continues without Danny. The brand limps on, maybe with a new presenter, maybe with the same crew. 2. The brand fades, and Danny thrives on his own, taking his fans with him. Or 3. Both coexist, and fans get to choose where their loyalty lies. Either way, this split is messy, it's personal, and it's left a lot of people heartbroken. Let's be clear, no one is perfect here. Contracts, arguments, mistakes, they're all part of the story. But if you ask fans who they trust, the answer is simple. They trust Danny, they love Danny. Because Danny Malin is Rate My Takeaway, whether the brand name says it or not. And maybe that's the real truth. You can own the van, you can hold the logins, you can run the channel, but you can't manufacture heart. And Danny Malin has always had that in spades. So, what do you think? Can Rate My Takeaway survive without its original star? Or has Danny already walked away with the soul of the show? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe. We'll keep you updated as this story continues to unfold. Because if there's one thing we know for sure, this isn't the last we'll be hearing about Danny Malin, Tom, Josh, or the future of Rate My Takeaway.